talk about this other situation that's happening. Lawlessness. The spirit of lawlessness, it's in the world. Now, we're told by John in 1 John that the spirit of Antichrist have been in the world for some time already. Many Antichrists have gotten into the world, and one of the things we know the Antichrist is all about is lawless. He is the lawless one. The mystery of lawlessness, the mystery of iniquity is already at work. It's only him who restrains it that won't allow the full revelation of the Antichrist to come in. Now, we know the restrainer, the katakon in Greek, means somebody who restrains evil, somebody who restrains really Satan and the Antichrist from coming on and revealing himself. Now, we would teach that it would be the Holy Spirit. Now, there are some believers who say it's an angel. I would disagree with that. I think the only true person, the only true being that can really resist evil to this degree, it's the Lord. And the book of Genesis 6 tells us that. It says the Spirit of God did not strive with man forever. It will not strive with man. And it gave a prophecy that its end will be so many days. And it will be so many years. And it was lawlessness in the time of Genesis 6, time of Noah. And it was the Spirit of God who says enough was enough, and it would not restrain anymore. And then it just became an absolute horrible place to be. And God had to judge the world. And not only what happened with the Nephilim, but the lawlessness and the hardness of hearts and the violence that was in the land. Well, we're living at a time of Noah again. And the lawlessness and the violence that you see. I have video after video. I think I've made Anthony really bored about all the videos that I sent him now. Keep sending them. Video after video. Surveillance cameras in L.A. You can go, I can't remember the name of the website or the name of the I don't do social media much or very well at all. I think it's called The People of Los Angeles. You can look it up. You can find it. I don't know if it's on Twitter or Instagram. People of Los Angeles. Anyway, they record a lot of this stuff of the violence and the lawlessness in L.A., specifically L.A. Video after video of surveillance, people being followed to their home. Rich areas, very wealthy areas in Torrance and South Bay, Beverly Hills. People being followed up to their home and being manhandled, being accosted in their home, and the cameras catch them. And Asian communities, Hispanic communities, white communities, black communities, doesn't matter. Obviously, it's not going to be any safer in any community. And this is from LAPD. This is a detective in LAPD. He says, this is like the movie, he says. Speaking of movies, this is like the movie The Purge, he says. Is anyone familiar with that movie? Okay. I think I know which one it is, but there's like 3 of them, and I've only seen like the trailer for one, and it was pretty bad. And it was basically, I think is that the one that they get one day to purge all their violence and all that stuff? Okay, so you guys, Susie, you seem to know quite well about this movie. Can you come up and share with us what this movie's about? No, I'm totally kidding. But anyway, this is what this detective said. It's like The Purge. He says, everybody is for themselves. The police is not going to help, he says. It's like you come to the LA, he says, it's like The Purge. It's like The Purge. Criminals have run roughshod through the city, he says, and there's really no way of curtailing them. It's like a Robin Hood mentality. What do they mean by that? Is basically they rob very wealthy areas. This is Westfield Nordstrom Mall in Topanga Canyon. There's a couple of ones in Northern California. They basically rob. It's like a mob. It's like a flash mob of delinquents. They show up, they park their cars, they block the streets, they run into the stores, they break a bunch of stuff, accost the people that are there, take all this Louis Vuitton stuff or whatever they do with it, and they run back into their cars and they take off. Now, it's on video. I have a very low resolution camera, and I can tell the license plate numbers of a lot of these cars. Yes, sir.
Right back on the street.
They get put back on the street.
Date, and they get put back on the street. No warrant.
No bail, nothing. Zero bail.
That's what they just keep going back.
Unreal. I have the footage. If anybody wants it, I could see the license plate numbers. But like Rick said, that even if they do arrest them, what do? They put them right back on the street. Even if they do arrest them, right? Which many of them probably don't. Burglars in California have taken on burglaries in California sky high. So be careful. Honestly, be careful. This is, not just as a pastor, as a friend, as a brother, as I'm telling you. Honestly, ladies, be careful. Driving home, better make sure nobody's following, nobody's parking behind you. You better, talk to Bear. He could give us a thing or two about a thing or two. Absolutely. In Bank of America, in New York City, not just here, but New York City, they're told, dress down to the workers. Dress down when you go to work. Go in like sweats and T-shirts. So it doesn't seem like, you work there, because they're targeting wealthy areas, right? So Bank of America, needless to say, this is just the beginning. By the way, the detective, who can forget the Christmas massacre, right? The Christmas massacre in Wisconsin, the fentanyl, opioids, by the way, this is not just the violence, the lawlessness, but the pharmakia, the witchcraft that goes along with it, the occulticism. Long story, I would make this a 3-hour thing if I kept going with it. The immigration crisis bringing in the cartels, and not only the cartels' violence, but the cartels' theology. What is it? Santa Muerte. The idolatry of Santa Muerte, the holy death, the worship of this cult deity being found in L.A., murals, and some of the activities that they do. It's found in L.A., coming from Mexico, coming from the cartels in Mexico. So crime after crime, but, they have asked the governor to do something about it. Well, he says, we shouldn't call them mobsters or rioters, because that is racist. He says, the DA in some of these cities don't want to do anything about it. What's the one in L.A., Bear? Definitely doesn't want to do anything about it. Anyway, so the press secretary, Jen Psaki, was asked about this, because it's like, hey, the violence, it's already kind of known in the world. Like, the world's looking at this. She says, well, you know what she says? It's the virus. The virus is causing grab and thefts. Now, who could believe this junk? I don't know, but people believe that they still have their job. Mayor Lightfoot says it's the department store's fault for the rioters. They should have better surveillance. They should have, they should just be protected better. So it's almost like a joke, right? It's almost like lawlessness has led to blindness and madness from the leaders. It's like having Caligula or Nero in power. And you're sitting as a Christian, imagine being a first century Christian and going like, who picked these guys, right? But it's God who gave them to Rome. Now, believers are the righteous believers they get to deal with this. Well, it's not just a judgment on us, but it's a judgment on society. Now, we could be a godly people in an ungodly society, absolutely. And it's a real test. It's going to be a real test of lawlessness and violence in our nation and in our cities. And what do we do with it, right? Because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. Make sure that doesn't happen to you. Jesus warned us about days like this, that it should not affect your love for one another.